The 2026 NBA season, a season that's been filled with amazing memories. But as we come down to the last leg, we have the thoughts of who is going to be the next NBA champion. There are a lot of teams in the conversation, but today I'm here to break down who I think will be this year's top title contenders, and stay tuned for who I have at number 1 winning this year's NBA championship. Yo, what is going on, NBA fans? My name is Rouse, bringing you guys a brand new video. Today, I'm going to be breaking down who I think are the top 5 title contenders in the NBA at the moment. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any comments or opinions about anything I say throughout the video, make sure to leave them down below, and let's get straight into the video. To start off this video, I'm going to knock off 3 honorable mentions that I have. So 3 teams that didn't quite make my top 5 on who I think are title contenders. So I have 3 honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is going to be the New York Knicks, unfortunately. You know, they have hit a very cold drought, and after watching the Knicks play a few basketball games, you know, these last couple weeks, you know, they've dropped one to the Lakers, they dropped one to the Clippers, and after watching them play those games, I just am not convinced that they have what it takes to win a championship. I think they have a great starting core with Brunson, Cat, Anunoby, Bridges, but my thing with them is they just lack a lot of consistency, and I think when it comes playoff time, that's going to hurt them. You know, they've upgraded their bench depth a lot this year, so don't get me wrong, they have made the improvements that have been needed to be made, but I just don't see them as beating one of those top teams in the East that I will mention later. I just don't feel like they have those key pieces yet. I don't feel like they have, you know, that defensive center that they need, because Karl-Anthony Towns kind of lacks that sometimes, and Jalen Brunson, you know, he's hunted a lot on the ball. So I have the Knicks as an honorable mention. I just don't have them in that top 5 if they can make it out of the East. My next honorable mention on this list is going to shock a lot of people, but like I said, that's why there's comments. My next honorable mention is going to be the Denver Nuggets. Now, I know a lot of people think they are one of the top dogs in the West, and so do I. The Denver Nuggets are a great basketball team. Don't get me wrong. But I think the one problem with Denver is the same problem that I see with the Knicks. There's not much consistency with their lineup, and the reason for that is because they've been injured all year. Aaron Gordon has only played a handful of games. Cam Johnson, who's, you know, he's really found his role. He's been playing great basketball as of late, but he has also really struggled to, you know, find his way into the Denver rotation. And I think that's what's going to hurt Denver when it comes to playoff time, because I truly don't think they are better than, you know, a OKC Thunder team or San Antonio Spurs team. I think, you know, Jokic is one, if not the best basketball player in the world right now. But as a team collectively, I can definitely see them losing in a 6-game series or even a 5-game series in the first round, depending on who they get matched up with. And that's why I have them as an honorable mention. Do I think Denver can make a run and go to the finals? Of course, they're a great basketball team, but I just don't see them as one of those, you know, top teams with just how good the West is. It's unfortunate that they have a great team, but they're in a Western Conference with teams that are better than them. My last and final honorable mention on this list is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers have a great team, and I do believe that they can compete in the West. I have 2 teams above them that are in the Eastern Conference. That's why they are an honorable mention, but the Cavaliers have a great team right now. I think if they're able to stay healthy in this last run of the season, you know, maybe take some of that momentum into the postseason, then yeah, they can definitely make a run into the Eastern Conference Finals. But right now, I just don't see them as, you know, a true threat to the title. But maybe they show me something in the playoffs, because that's something they've lacked over the last few years. They've had great regular season numbers, but when it comes playoff times, they tend to fail there. But with the addition of James Harden, I think things might be different. And yes, they are honorable mention, but I think they are one of the best honorable mentions that I could have picked, because of how good, you know, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden could be in a postseason run with defensive anchors like Evan Mobley and like Jared Allen. I'm excited to see what they can do in the postseason. I just don't think they're quite better than the teams that I have on my list, but I can definitely see the Cavs making a run, as I truly do love their roster that they have built. Getting into the 5 title contenders that I have on this year, number 5 on my list is going to be out east, and it's going to be the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics have been a great team this year. They are number 2 in the East for a reason, and they just got their best player back, arguably their best player back, in Jason Tatum from injury, and I think this team can really make some noise now in the playoffs. They were already amazing without Jason Tatum, and now you add him in and they're even better. That's why I have them 5 on my list. And the reason why I have them 5 is because sometimes when it comes playoff time, those depth guys, those little roster guys like Neemias Queta, like Baylor Shireman, those type of guys, they could have great regular season numbers. But when it comes to postseason, you need that experience of playing in a postseason and to make a deep playoff run. And those guys, they haven't been added for those deep playoff Celtics runs. Last year they were bounced in the first or second round, I quite really remember, against the Knicks. And, they didn't get that much experience because they weren't able to make that playoff run. But those guys who do have the experience, like Derek White, like Jaylen Brown, like Jason Tatum, could help them evolve when it comes to that time. But I don't think they're better than, that top seed in the East that I'm going to mention soon. I think they just need to stay healthy. They lost Vucevic with a broken hand, I believe it was. But the Boston Celtics are still a great team, without a doubt. Jaylen Brown's playing at an MVP level, and he's continued to play like that throughout the entire year. And this team defensively is very scary. This team defensively was scary, but now you add the offense of Jason Tatum. Those are the type of components that can add to a deep playoff run, and that's why I have the Celtics at number 5. At number 4 is going to make a lot of people mad, but I don't care. I got the Los Angeles Lakers at number 4. The Los Angeles Lakers are a team that a lot of people don't believe are built to win now, but after watching their games and after watching the run they have gone through this month, the Lakers are a team that should be scary in the postseason, and a lot of teams should be scared of matching up with the Lakers. Last year, a lot of people said the same thing, that the Lakers are the 3rd seed. A lot of people, didn't really believe in them after they made the Luka Doncic trade, and then the Timberwolves years happens. They weren't fully adjusted yet. Minnesota was a team that was red hot. They had their guys. They've all, had that chemistry already, and it proved. But now with a full year of the Big Three playing together and the way they are playing at the moment, I would be scared of this Laker team, because their number one problem throughout the entire season was, can they do it defensively? And over the last month, they have proven to be one of the best, surprisingly, defensive teams in the league. They, go into an OT thriller with the Denver Nuggets, win that game on a crazy sequence of events. And a lot of the Laker talk was, they can't really perform against those, over 500 teams. And they have wiped that narrative over this month. They beat the Timberwolves, they beat the Knicks, they beat the Denver Nuggets, and now they just beat the Houston Rockets, who they'll have another game against. But those are 4 top teams in the NBA at the moment. And the Lakers dealt with them with ease. They dealt with the Knicks with ease. The Knicks didn't even lead the whole game. The same thing with Minnesota. They wiped the floor with Minnesota. And the thing that stood out to me most when it comes to the Lakers is they have JJ Redick has game planned so well. And I believe he can do the same when it comes playoff time, because when you are shutting down the other team's superstars, like Anthony Edwards, who had a horrible game against LA, Mikal Bridges, not a star player, but a great player for the Knicks, had a horrible game, and Jalen Brunson, who didn't even shoot the ball that well, you take those guys out of the game and you make the others beat you. For Denver, they made Jokic a passer. They did not want Jokic shooting the ball, and they did that. They made other guys beat him, like Aaron Gordon. And Jamal Murray, don't even get me started. He shot 1 for 11. He's known as a Laker killer, and he went out and shot 1 for 11 and fouled out. So the way the Lakers are game playing right now, around Smart, around Luka Doncic, around Reeves, it's gearing up for a, what could be confusing but also scary postseason run, and which is the reason why I got them at 4 over teams like Minnesota and Houston. At number 3 on my list, I've got the Detroit Pistons. And Detroit has proven to be a really good regular season team. And I was kind of scared to put Detroit at 3, but after looking back on it, I think the Pistons can take what they've done in the regular season and apply that to the postseason. And the reason I say that I was scared to put the Pistons at 3 is because they lack that secondary score. You know, a lot of teams have their secondary score, you know, like the Lakers who've got Austin Reeves, like the Cavs who now have James Harden. You know, they've got teams who can take the pressure off of their superstar or off of one another, but I just don't see that person for the Pistons, which is the reason why I'm very scared when it comes to the postseason for them. They've had a lot of regular season success, but when it comes to a 7-game series, teams are going to have game plans. Teams are going to have you mapped out, and I feel like that'll come to bite the Pistons because, you know, it can't just always be Cade versus the world or Jalen Duren versus the world, as, you know, without Cade, there's no Jalen Duren. So that's why I have the Pistons at 3. I don't have them at 2 or 1, even with the regular season success that they've had. I think the Pistons are still a great team that can make a good run in the Eastern Conference Finals, just based off, you know, they're going to get an 8 seed in the East who just, it's not that good. So they're going to get to the second round. And then depending who they get in that second or even the Eastern Conference Finals, it's up to them to make that run. I do think they have the pieces to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I just don't know if, you know, their game plan or their offensive success will be able to take them to that point. You know, I did think about putting them at 5, but with the amount of success that they've had this season and, you know, a number 1 seed in the East throughout the entire year, you know, they haven't really lost that. I just can't disrespect a team that's been that good. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. They've been able to win game after game after game because of how many stops they're getting, and they're doing it on both sides of the floor. So I've got the Pistons at 3. Hopefully they can prove me wrong, but I just don't see it when it comes playoff time on the offensive side. At the number 2 spot for me, I've got the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I've got the Spurs at number 2 because you can never rule out a player like Victor Wembanyama when it comes to the playoffs. Now, we haven't really seen Victor in the playoffs and what he can do because, you know, last year's injury, the Spurs were ruled out. In his rookie year, the Spurs weren't that good at basketball. But now we've seen a full season of what the Spurs can be, and this is a team that can make a lot of noise out west. I think if they get matched up with teams like Denver, teams like Houston, and teams like Minnesota, they will do damage to them because of how well they are on both sides of the ball. You know, De'Aaron Fox is a guy who hasn't seen that much postseason success. They had that one great year in Sacramento where, you know, they made a lot of noise in the West and had a little bit of some, you know, playoff success, play-in success, whatever you want to call it. But this team on both sides of the ball is one of the scariest in the league. They've had classics with the Thunder already, and I'm hoping that we get to see them in a possible playoff series. But when you have a guy who is 7'4" and can drop 30 points with 6 blocks, that's going to help you win playoff games. You know, there's no really answer for him. I think the only answer for him out there might be Nikola Jokic, but like I said before, their team isn't really that deep enough for them to go on a postseason run, where the Spurs are the complete opposite. They have 9 to 10 guys who can come in and out of the rotation and give you great success and great minutes, like Keldon Johnson, who has had a great year and has gone under the radar for that Spurs team just because, you know, no one really talks about him. You know, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, you know, those guys really get the talk, but, you know, Keldon Johnson, even like a Luke Cornett, who hasn't been great, but when it comes, again, to the playoff time, he's got that experience with the Boston Celtics. He knows what he's doing when it comes to a 7-game series, and I think that's where the Spurs will have great success because they are still young. And that's the only thing that I think can come and ruin their playoff hopes and chances of winning an NBA championship, that some of their younger guys haven't experienced what it takes to win a NBA Finals championship, like Wembanyama, like Dylan Harper, like Stephon Castle. Those 3 guys haven't really they've never played in a playoff series before. They don't know what that atmosphere is like. You know, San Antonio, their home crowd does a good job of bringing a great atmosphere to their building, but they don't know what it's like when it comes to playoff basketball. That is the only thing that I feel can, you know, take away from the Spurs. You know, maybe if they get matched up with a team like the Lakers that I just mentioned, it might get a little hard for them. I know the Spurs have had great success against the Lakers in the regular season, but with a fully healthy Lakers team like a Luka Doncic, even like a fully healthy Thunder team, if they get matched up with the Thunder, I think those are two teams that could really just, hurt the Spurs. And I hope that they are able to make a deep playoff run, because it would be amazing to see Wembanyama playoff basketball for as long as we can get. But I just don't see them better than obviously the number one team that I have, because of that unexperienced play. And last but certainly not least on my list is the defending champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, as they have just proven that they cannot lose basketball games. Shai, ever since coming back from injury, has been Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He just went toe-to-toe with two of the best teams in the West, the Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets, and he came out as the best player in both of those games. Even having a struggle night against the Timberwolves, he still somehow outplayed Anthony Edwards. And then those games against Denver, he was still able to outplay Nikola Jokic and come out with a win, even hitting a game-winning shot. I think this team, after last year, got the experience that they needed after winning the NBA championship, and then they added more. They added a guy like Jared McCain at the deadline, who is just the best pickup that they could possibly made, because now they have a guard who they trust. They can bring off the bench and give Shai the rest that he needs, and Jared McCain can come out and knock down, like he did the other night, 5 threes, 6 threes, and get you 20 points with ease. This Thunder team is very scary coming into this postseason run. We're not talking about next year when, those extensions for J-Dub and Chet are finally going to hit their books, and they're going to have to let go some of guys like Alex Caruso and like Isaiah Hartenstein and even Lou Dort. Those three guys might not be in an OKC Thunder jersey anymore, but we're talking about right now, and right now the Thunder are the best team in basketball without a doubt. They are killing it on both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively. They really have no weakness. I don't see a weakness on this team like the other teams on this list, where maybe it's experience, maybe it's injuries, maybe it's something like that. But even with the injuries, this team is still number one in the best team in basketball. There's no other else to put it. So right now, as of March 16th as well, just like my last video, I've got the OKC Thunder as the back-to-back NBA champions. But who knows? When it comes playoff time, anything can happen. We're gearing up to have one of the best playoffs that we've ever seen, especially out west with the matchups that we could be possibly seeing. And even out east, we could be seeing some classics as well. It's all going to be great basketball that we're seeing upcoming in the next few months. We'll just have to see what happens. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. I really hope you guys did enjoy. If you have any comments on anything I said, because I know this was a very controversial video, make sure just leave them down in the comments, and I'm more than happy to have a discussion with you guys. I love talking about basketball. If you guys have any video ideas that you guys want to see next, again, make sure to leave them down below. Like and subscribe for the channel. It only helps me out more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.